This is Little Sparkle, welcome everyone. We all are teachers, we know it's hard to educate our kids and make them face.
All right, welcome back to Little Sparkle. I am your first host, co-host, Julie Walker, and I'm here with
your co-host, Christine Parker.
Welcome back. So, let's just kind of catch everybody up. If you missed last week's episode, Christine is now our co-host, and aren't we lucky?
I'm the lucky one.
Aw, you know I love you, and I'm so glad that we get to share this, as we like to talk, and I think we're just really good at it.
We are. It comes so naturally to us anyways.
It really does. Really does. So the series we're in season 4 currently. The series we're in is What I Wish You Knew. And so we're looking at all different facets of education. Last week we talked about your situation being a kindergarten teacher. And then I kind of teased everybody by saying that I got a lateral promotion and then said, we'll talk about that later. And then we never did. So this week we're going to kind of open that discussion up and talk about coaching and what that's like. So what's been new for you this last week before we dive in the world of education? Anything?
No, same old. I just feel like it's still a full moon, even though it's not. That was pretty much last week, but I swear in kindergarten
I feel like some years feel like full moons. Like some years are better than others in education. And, I think we're in that slump this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we all.
Oh, yeah. Well, and we talked about, I know I've said this phrase to you before, and I'm going to clean it up for the air here, but crap rolls downhill. Mm-hmm. And we're having a lot of things coming down the hill.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's been interesting this year. It's been something.
It really has. It's only October.
I know. And I'm like, well, first of all, I can't believe we're in October because I feel like 2023 just started. We're about to celebrate a big anniversary, you and I.
I know. 10 years.
It's funny because I have always been like, when we get to double digits, like in my relationship, God, that's so long. But it feels like you and I like have just always known each other. So
I know, it feels so much more than 10 years.
Yeah. We've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of schools, a lot of transitions, a lot of education, which is something else. Like, I know this is a side note, but like, I think you and I should definitely talk about what we wish people would know about the School of Education. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to name any names of where we went. I'm sure people probably know already, but I think that would be eye-opening. So,
yes.
But yeah, so it has definitely it's been a long week too. Like so we set a date of working together on Tuesdays. And then this Tuesday, we actually had our open house. And so we couldn't sit down to record on Tuesday. I do homework on Wednesday. So here we are, it's Thursday night, and this is going to be uploaded for tomorrow morning, Friday. So it's been a long week.
It really has. And like Tuesday, us and the pizzas, that was hilarious.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, let me tell them about our pizza story. So, okay, because I live 30 minutes from where we work, I'm like, I'm not going home just to have to turn around and come back. So somebody had mentioned, I'm not going to name names, but somebody had mentioned that they were purchasing pizzas for our Title I open house. And so I'm like, well, I mean, I'll go get them because I can't go home. So we, of course, I say something to Christine because she's like, I can't really go home either because by the time I do, I'm going to try to turn around and come back, right? So we go, we're bebopping, whatever. We get to the place early. I'm like, Let's go get Diet Pepsis. Heck yeah. Shout out to Taco Bell for always having Diet Pepsi. Like, if you ever change that, I will no longer frequent your establishment. But yeah, now we're not here for a debate, but hands down, Diet Pepsi is better than Diet Coke. And
Yes.
fight me on it, people. That's fine. Like, anyways. So I was super excited that we could go through and get a Diet Pepsi. And then, of course, I had my little one with me. So I'm like, okay, I'll get him something to eat so that he's not starving. Because I don't know, 5-year-olds are constantly hungry, apparently. And so we go get that. We come back. We walk in and we're like, we're here for our school. And 50 pizzas were ordered. And they went, what? Who'd you talk to? And I'm like, well, it wasn't me who talked. I was sent here, right? And so the lady's like, when did they talk to somebody? I said, yesterday morning. And she's like, well, I worked yesterday morning. It wasn't me. And I was like, oh, crap. So I called. Come to find out, we went to the wrong place. We thought it was Little Caesars because they have the best $5 deal.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it was Hungry Howie's. Okay, it gets better. So we make our way back the way we came, because how else would this go for us, really? Make our way back the way we came, and we go in, and I see the 50 pizzas when we walked in, because did you see those pink light boxes? I was like, oh crap. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, okay, I drove a truck here, not an SUV. I have my kid in the back seat. Those aren't going to fit in the back seat. We're going to have to put them in the truck, in the bed of the truck. Okay, so I told the guy, I don't know if you heard this part, but I said, we're going to put it in the bed. He goes, the bed?
Is that what he said? I didn't hear that part.
The bed? I said, yes, sir. I don't know where else it's going to fit. And he goes, okay. So it was almost like a challenge for everybody then. So like me and you were just trying to get them up on the bed of the truck, and we're like pushing them in. They barely fit.
They did.
I mean, like 4 more pizzas and we would not have been able to fit. I was really nervous when he's like, I do have a few more. And I'm like, oh, crap. But then a little bit of sense kicked in. So, like, I'm putting pizzas in the bed of the truck and they have a flap. And I'm like, I can't not cover these somehow. So I was thinking about it and I'm like, okay, well, I have bungee cords. If we can at least bungee cord over, we can keep the lids from flying up. Screw it if bugs get in. That's not my problem. Like, I just get in there, right? So Christine and I try getting the bungees, like I get my side and I'm like, oh yeah, just pull, just put it. That sucker flies off. I'm like, okay, well, that happened. And then Christine gets in the bed of the truck, tries to help, and you can tell she's like, I don't want my face to be hit.
Right, this is me. I'm like, okay. It already snapped once. And I'm 4'11", so like me getting in the bed of the truck, I'm sure that was hilarious because I'm like, okay, let me get back there. But yeah, the whole time I'm like,
right at that point.
yes.
Oh my gosh. So, okay. So, but we did it. You know what? I went all the back ways to the school. I had my kiddo look out the window, make sure no pizzas flew open. And we made it. And then we got there and it was like, so all that time, it took us, 15 minutes to get it all loaded up. And there was enough people there that like within not even 2 minutes, the bed of the truck was cleaned out. Like it was quick. So that was cool. And then, yeah, we survived.
Yeah, we always have an adventure, the two of us.
People should know.
Nothing was ever easy.
No, of course not. But you know what? You know what I like about our relationship? We persevere. We figure it out. It might be unconventional, but we figure it out. So, yeah, so we definitely had adventures this past week. But, you know, it's just stuff to tell our grandchildren one day. Oh, man. All right. Well, I guess it's time to jump in. I'll let you lead the way tonight.
Oh, well, see, she didn't even tell me that. So, so I know we talked about your new position being a reading coach. First of all, how is that going?
You want my real response?
I think
I okay, it's kind of it's twofold, right? So like there's parts of this job that I love that I think fits my personality and who I am to a T. And then there's parts of this job that I abhor. And I would say hate, but abhor is really the word because I like dread situations that are not easy. And I feel like my job now is much more in the people business. Like when I was a teacher, I was much more in the building little people, like giving them what they need to be successful. And now I'm almost having to like, okay, you know the show Big Brother?
Yes, I mean, I don't watch it constantly, but I've seen a few episodes. Yes.
Okay, so in Big Brother, like everybody has these cameras on them at all times. And you know, you build alliances with people to try to work together. And then like, you know, some people backstab you and people are voting you out every week or voting people out every week. And like, you're just praying it's not you. I feel like the part of this job that I hate is very much Big Brother like, because there's so many more eyes scrutinizing you. And almost to the point where I don't want to say it's jealousy, but like it has to be where some of this is coming from, I think, because not that they're jealous of me, but they're jealous of the fact that I get to be in a position that maybe they covet or that they want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a hard job. And I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Right.
So when it comes down to it, like at the end of the day, do I love what I'm doing? Yes. How's it going? I'm surviving.
Right. Well, you're doing an amazing job.
You have
Like,
to say.
No, but you're killing it though. Like you're sending resources. I mean, like amazing. And I know you don't have any kindergarten experience, but what you sent today was awesome. But you really do want to help people. And I know it's really hard for you, like you said, when you kind of have to be not the bad person, but you want to help people and you see that they're maybe doing something wrong and you're trying to tell them in a nice way, you know, to fix it. And I know, especially the veteran teachers, you know, they're stuck in their ways sometimes. And so, you know how that goes.
Yeah, like I love it when, and it's funny because Cody and I were watching Hell's Kitchen the other night and somebody asked him what they were looking for. And he immediately was like, someone that's workable, like somebody I can work with, somebody that's trainable, somebody that wants to learn. And it's like, those are the people that make this job worth it because they listen and they absorb everything. And I'm not saying all of the things I do is absolutely 100% right and there's no other way to do it. But what I'm saying is like, if you're willing to listen to my side and listen to some of the things I have, like I have some really good proven strategies and ideas. And I don't know about you, but I love to collaborate. And I think that's why I got into this podcasting, because I want to talk to you and I want to come up with ideas and I want my analytical side to come out and I want to be able to like, I want to blow education out of the water. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
And I feel like a lot of people, especially nowadays with the way education's going and how some behaviors are terrible and parents are parents.
That's a good word.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are like burnout and drained and doing this for the summers and the pay. Not that the pay's great, but it is a stable income, right? And a lot of places are not stable incomes. There's a retirement and there's insurance. I mean, when you're looking at it, do we make enough? No, but there's enough here to make us stay.
Right.
I think is the way to say it, right?
Exactly.
yeah, so it's difficult to, I want to help people and I I want them to want me to help them. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And like I know some people just, like I said, a good word for it is stuck in their ways. And
Yeah. And
unfortunately,
I think some people think that it's like an attack on their teaching if I have an idea. It's not an attack on you, it's just an idea. Maybe you've thought of it before, maybe you've done it before and it didn't work for you. That's cool, but it's just an idea.
right.
Yeah.
And I know I've said this to you before, like that's what makes us better teachers. Like if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, well, I noticed this. Why don't you give this a try?" It's like, okay, yeah, let me try it. It doesn't hurt. If it doesn't, like you said, if it doesn't go well, I tried it, but it just didn't work this year with my kids.
Right.
So I'm the type, hey, if I'm doing something wrong, please tell me, because I don't want to keep doing it wrong. And
Right. Oh, and for me, the people who are closest to my boss know what he or she wants, right? They know what they're looking for. That person becomes my best friend because I need to know, no offense, nobody can ever take over your spot. But
I was like, hey, that job's taken.
but like, I need to know what's going to make me look good. And I feel like a lot of jobs don't have that. They don't have somebody that's going to say, this is what the boss is looking for. I need you to do this so that you can look good in front of their face. Right, but we have that, and I'm not saying that that's what everything's about. It's not always about just looking good. Like you still need to do good teaching practices. But at the same time, that is a big factor of it because my evaluation, your evaluation, all of our evaluations hinder on this, right? Or hinge on this. Right. So that's where it's just frustrating sometimes, when you have all this up here and you want to use it and then nobody wants to listen to it.
So what are some differences and similarities between teaching and coaching?
So you're always going to have good days and bad days in both. And sometimes you have good weeks and bad weeks, good months, bad months, good years, bad years.
Right.
Like it's never going to be the same. I think the biggest difference is the constant change in schedule. Like as a teacher, you have everything planned out, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, right? As a coach, I can have all the best intentions. I can plan my day. I can have it by the time frame. I can have all of that. As soon as somebody calls out and doesn't leave a sub plan, my whole day is shot. Because now I have to sit down. I have to find out where they're at. I have to find resources. I have to go make copies of that resource. You're looking at least 45 minutes of my day gone. And anything I had in that morning time probably was important. So now I just need to shift that over. And now what am I getting rid of? Right? So like the schedule is completely different. But when it comes to people, I know this is going to sound some type of way, but I mean this wholeheartedly. It's the same. You have some people that overachieve and go straight for the goal and want to be perfect. You have those that are skating by okay with just an okay score, that are super brilliant, and if they applied themselves could be Ron Clark. Okay. Right. And then you have those that you are tier 2ing them, tier 3ing them, and it's still not clicking. You love them. You want the best for them. Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
So I really feel like it's very, very similar. And it's funny to me because a lot of times people are like, well, kids' behavior is learned. Listen, I think the behavior is learned, but the driving force behind it and their personality, they're born with that.
Yeah.
Like I definitely was born with a go-getter attitude.
Me too.
And I think that, the trauma I've gone through, my whole history. I think that is the big difference between me getting out and getting an education and becoming a well-educated woman. You there?
Yes.
Did you hear what I said?
I could hear you. You kind of froze a little bit. I could hear you.
All right. Well, if you're watching, I'm not editing this, so we're going to keep going. Where was I? Oh, okay. So I think that's the difference in me becoming a well-educated woman and living a life that's not like drugs, alcohol, and promiscuous sex. And somebody who does that, right? It's my personality. My personality dictated that this is just who I am and this is how I'm going to be. Whereas some other people, when they've gone through traumas and they've gone through stuff like that, they end up going the opposite direction. And I think when we look at our kids and we look at our teachers and we look at people's personalities, they're born with that. You can't change that. So, yeah, I mean, there's similarities, there's differences, but at the end of the day, it's really similar, just on a different scale.
Right. What do you think what do you wish people understood about you, though?
Oh, man. Okay, so I kind of touched on this briefly, but I wish they understood that everybody needs me to be everything at all times. So, like, I'm just going to go, like, top down, right? So when I became a coach, my first thought was, okay, what does Mr. Sears want? Oops, I said his name. What does my boss want me to do, right? Like, that's what I thought. I thought, what does he want me to do? And I went to him, like, okay, what do you need from me? What do you want from me? Like, what can I do? And so he has, like, these expectations and things he wants from me. Same thing with my assistant principal. You know, she has expectations and wants and desires for me to do to help the school. Every teacher feels like their fire, their whatever's going on in the world is the biggest one at that moment, right? So I can be working on lesson plans with 8th grade and kindergarten comes in and they need, and I'm just picking on you because you're right here, and they need me to work on something and they need it as soon as possible, right? Because little Johnny's falling behind and I don't know what to do with him. So help me get this done, right? And it's like, okay, I can do this, I can get that done. But then I also still have the stuff from the office that they need me to get finished. And then, you know, the district then sends me an email and says, I need you to do blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool, let me get that done. Like, people are expecting me to be what they need all the time. And they don't think about other people have that need as well.
Right.
And so
I'm sure you're tired all day.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, and then, you know, on top of that, like, I'm having to plan PLCs. I'm having to, I've become kind of people's soundboard, I guess. And I think taking on, and you know, I'm an emotional person, right? So I think taking on people's, I'm going to sneeze. Yeah, people really want to see that. Okay. I think taking on people's feelings, taking on their emotions drains me.
Yes.
And I get
take it on too.
Yeah. And I get to a point, like last week, somebody stopped me and they were like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And I think if somebody had asked me that a year ago, yeah, I'm fine. Right? Like, I think I've grown enough to be able to say, like, it's okay that I'm not okay right now. I'm not stuck here. This is just how I feel. But I was very honest with her and I was like, no, I'm not okay right now. I'm at my breaking point. I need a break. I need a break. I have things I need to get done. And my brain's just about to implode. And I did actually, now, granted, my head was starting to kill me, which we know probably was brought on by stress at that point. But I took a half day. I went home. Yeah. And I needed it. I passed out as soon as I got home. So, you know, I wish people knew that. Because I know, and you know, and we've said this before, people are like, well, what are they doing? And I really hope people know that I'm really doing my darndest to get resources out there to help with planning, to be there for them, and not just like enforce the rules and enforce what the principal wants, but to also be a support to them and like somebody that they can trust and talk to. The only person that's going to hear about everything going on is my therapist, which is fine because she's not going to tell anybody, So I don't know. I wish people understood that. And not that I don't want them to come to me, but that I want them to come to me and be like, when you have a minute, which I know you're really good about doing. And there are a few other people that are really good about doing that. But I think those people already know me as a person. And so they know, like, I need you to not be on fire right now.
Right. Like you said, people expect it, and you're the type like, okay, yeah, I'll get it done. And you have like all these things on your plate. And so, yeah, I get what you mean about people need to understand that, that you're just like I tell the students, hey, there's one Mrs. Parker, there's 20 of you. So be patient. Yes.
And it's difficult too, because like my evaluation this year rides on how well I do. And I want to do well, that's just who I am as a person. I think most teachers are like that. So I think that's just part of our personality. But at the same time, like, I'm just overwhelmed. And it's funny. Yeah. So, okay, I have the feelings wheel on my computer, on my laptop. I wholeheartedly believe in the feelings wheel, because when I first started therapy, she was like, that's not a feeling. And I was like, that's what? That's not a feeling? It's like, that's a thought. And so I need the feelings wheel to help bring me back. So I was feeling overwhelmed today, and I looked on the feelings wheel at the core feeling of overwhelm. I want you to guess what core feeling of overwhelm do you think it is? So like happy, sad, mad, fearful. Happy, sad, mad, fearful. Yeah, those are the core.
Sad.
That's what I thought. You know where it is?
What?
Fear. So I had to think, okay, I'm overwhelmed right now. What is the fear coming from? Like where, like I was blown away because I thought it was under sad. And so when I looked at it, I'm like, oh crap, I'm fearful, right? What am I fearful of? Failing. I'm fearful that somebody's going to ask me to do something and I don't get it done, and I'm going to look like a failure.
Like, that makes sense, because that's you, though, because you're the type, if somebody asks you to do something and you forget, then you feel really bad, and then
yeah. And because I also, and I don't know if other people my age are feeling this way, because I know we're kind of in this like revolutionary time where people are starting to realize, oh crap, I was ADHD and nobody noticed, which definitely has happened to me since Xander got his diagnosis, because like he and I, our thought process is literally the same. It's like cut and paste. And so like with ADHD, when something's out of sight, it's literally out of my mind. It's why like I forget to call people, or I forget to talk to people, or I forget the simplest things. Like I'm about to out myself. I keep little toothbrushes in my office and in my truck, and I like carry them around with me, because in the morning as I'm rushing around, if I don't look at my toothbrush, I forget. So then I get in the car and I'm like, oh man. So I pull out my emergency toothbrush and brush my teeth on the way to work. And like, that's literally how my brain is. Like, I've had to find little ways to combat it, but that's how it is.
Right.
And I think, if somebody says something to me in passing, I'm literally in my head going, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. Because until I can write it down, because then I'm screwed if I don't get to write it down. Right. And yeah. And I'm like my biggest enemy on this, because I'm like, you're a grown woman. You should remember these things. Like, why can I, like, okay, microphone, this thing. Every time we go to sit down and record, I'm like, shh, I forgot to give Christine the other microphone. But I don't walk in the recording studio until I'm recording, so.
Right, I know, and I forget to tell you, because you told me, don't forget to remind me. See, so I'm just
But I mean, it's like everything. And it's always been kind of an argument between me and people that are close to me because they get frustrated with it. And I'm frustrated too, but I've never been able to like voice like this is just how my brain is until recently when I'm doing all this research for Xander. And like, you know, Cody, my husband, Cody, like, I know you know who he is, but the rest of the people may not. He that's like our biggest argument is like, what do you mean you forgot? Out of sight, out of mind. I forgot, you know? So I think I tend to put the overwhelm and the anxiety on myself because I know how I am and I don't want to fail anybody.
You put too much pressure.
Who doesn't? But,
Right,
you know,
right.
Yeah, absolutely I do. That's why I say I'm my own like biggest enemy because like I'm my own biggest critic. I'm
Right.
you know, like everybody in the world. Oh, you don't need to wear makeup. You look nice without makeup. No, I need the makeup. I look terrible. Yeah, that's how I am. So, but if people don't accept me without makeup, then they can't be my friend. So,
Right. Hello, Dr. Quinn. So,
listen, I commend though, like, and I think I'm a little bit jealous of those people that their hair is always perfectly done and their outfits are pressed and their nails look nice and their makeup's done and I'm like, did you try again? Watch. Like honestly, that's how I feel. I'm just over here going, I'm slumming it today. Somebody called me frumpy. I'm frumpy today. It's fine. Like it's fine. Yeah, it's okay. Moving on.
I'm not grumpy, but I love how you and I are just like very similar. Like we're recording and we're like, hey, it is what it is. My hair is like, I don't care.
And I heard somebody I watch on TikTok's like, I always have to do a full face of makeup so that my videos can be seen by people. And I'm just like, if they don't want to see me because I'm not wearing makeup, then they don't need to watch. Like I don't.
Right.
What does it matter? Men can literally roll out of bed and walk out the door. What is that?
So frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which, don't even get me started on the whole man thing. So privileged. Their life is so easy.
I do have a question I just thought of though.
Oh, okay.
Which is easier, teaching students or adults?
The honest truth. Students. Because at the end of the day, I can make my students do their work by calling their parents. I ain't calling these grown adult people's parents, okay?
What's your mama's number?
You know what, though? Do you remember Kate Ashmore did that? The year she's like, I'm going to call parents. And I was like, please don't call my family. Please don't call me. And she did.
Yes. But that was for a positive thing.
Yeah, she was doing it in a positive way, which I do think celebrations need to occur. And that I was actually thinking about that today. I'm like, we have been so negative lately. Like, this isn't done and this isn't done and this isn't done. And I'm like, nope. Tomorrow, no matter what, I am going to celebrate people where they're at. Oh, I'll show you. Maybe. I got thank you cards and blank cards and prayer cards.
Look at you.
I'm prepared for tomorrow. I have stickers at school and I have some prizes. I'm going to go around and I'm going to give out some surprises to people who've been on it, who've made my life easier, who is just kicking butt, taking names later. I'm like, this needs to happen. It needs to happen more often. And I think I don't want to get so wrapped up in the semantics, in the logistics, and all those things that I forget that these are people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, kids are easier.
That's amazing.
Stop. You have to say that.
Just like you have to say a lot of stuff about me, too. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, you got to tell me that. We're not ever going to believe each other when we say things about nice to each other. We're like, you have to say that.
It's like when you hear it from your husband, you're like, Stop.
Right. Like,
Oh man. But yeah, no. And these are super cute, BT Dub. So there's like a little prayer on it. You know, so if somebody's like having a hard time, I mean, I know, okay, so you're not supposed to bring religion into school, but most people I know that work at a school, and I would never just hand it to somebody who's of a different faith or believes, doesn't believe, like, but still, I thought it was super cute. And I was like, sometimes we all just need a little pick me up. So,
exactly. And know that we're appreciated and
yeah.
loved. And
Which, did you know today was World Teachers Day?
I saw that when I got home.
Here's my thing. Why did I hear about it at 4 o'clock?
Right.
And why did only Dunkin' Donuts do something for us today?
I didn't even know Dunkin' Donuts did anything today.
They were doing a free medium iced coffee. And it was 4 o'clock by the time I found out. And I'm like, I'm not drinking coffee this late at night because I'll never sleep.
I'll be up all night.
Honestly, though, like if I drink a hot coffee, I can go right to bed afterwards. I think it's something about the heat, but like an iced coffee, no. I already have insomnia. We're not adding to that. So.
Yeah, no, I didn't know until I got home too. I'm like, really?
Yep. See, that just makes me sad because I feel like if it had been like World NBA Player Day, like we would have heard about it all week long. Right?
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about football for a second, which everybody's like, what? But no, listen, okay? So, because I had this thought process. So my dad, my biological father, my dad, is a Jets fan. I'm not into football at all. I'm just going to preface that by saying that because I don't like football. My husband is a Miami Dolphins fan. Okay, bear with me. If you know nothing about football, I'm going to explain this to you. Apparently, they're in the same division. So they go against each other at some point. Did you know this?
No.
I didn't
know football had divisions.
I know, me either, until they told me. They were like, yeah, we're rivals. And I'm like, what? Okay, anyways. So have you heard of Aaron Rodgers?
I've heard of Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Yeah, everybody says he's the world's prettiest football player. I agree. So he was on the Jets, and I guess like the first 4 minutes of the first game, he like did something with his tendon, and now he's out the rest of the season if he can even come back. And he was like their star player. Like they were like, oh, we might actually get on the board this year, and like now they suck. Yeah. So I was thinking to myself when this happened, right? It was like, if people thought about us teachers the way they thought about football players, and was sad when one of us was down and out for the count, and we got paid no matter what, because that man is locked in a contract. He's going to get that money, that millions of dollars, no matter what, right? So he could sit out
like 3 years or something?
I don't even know. But like, enough that like, I sit back and go, I couldn't even have a maternity leave, but he gets hurt and gets to stay out for what? Okay, so anyways, I think the entire United States population would be a lot smarter because they would put emphasis on those teachers. People would want to be teachers. We would have quality standards across the board.
Right.
Why has this? Because of money. But here's the thing. Here's my thought process. It takes money to make money, right? If we turn education into a multiple trillion, billion, whatever establishment, we put buku money in, at some point, can we not do deals? Can we not turn this into a profitable thing too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not understanding why we can't turn it into what is going to make things better. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Let me tear my tendon and give me all that money. I'll be more than happy to sacrifice that.
I tell you what, it's funny because especially when I talk to people about this lateral promotion, right? They're like, what do you mean it's a lateral promotion? I'm like, well, I didn't go up in pay. I just went up in work.
Responsibility.
Yeah, like I just have more responsibility and a little bit more pressure on my shoulders, which I think is why I've been breaking out like a schoolgirl. But no extra pay. And they're like, why would you want that? And I'm like, it's who I am.
You're
it's-
helpless. You like helping people.
and last year I really like when I came out of all the things going on in my life, which if you're watching this and you don't know about any of those things, go back to season 1. But when I came out of all the things in my life, I was very jaded. And I don't know if you noticed that about me. Like, I feel like I stopped helping people. I felt like I had nothing to offer anybody, right? Like I was so broken and I just felt like there's nothing I can give anybody anymore. And so, people used to call me a helper and I'm like, I'm not a helper anymore. I don't help others. Like I don't have that. And now I'm starting to get back to wanting to help people and being a helper, but I'm still very much closed off and very private. I mean, for obvious reasons, but like I don't know. Like I look back now and I'm like, I don't want to be that private. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I just, because somebody said it to me, they were like, well, I know you're real private and you don't like to talk about things. And I'm like, am I really that closed off from people? Like, I don't want anyone to ever feel like I'm closed off from them. And I thought I had been more open and honest about things. And then I realized like, I have very much guarded my heart and guarded my mind from letting people in anymore because I don't hurt. Yeah. And in doing so, I feel like I closed off that part of me that was a helper. And so I'm now starting to come back through and I'm like, I am a helper. That's who I am in my heart. And I need to be more open and be there for people and allow people in, even though I'll go through it kicking and screaming the whole way. And you know that. I don't like people. I don't want to be doing this. But at the end of the day, like I'm happy I did it, kind of like my birthday party. Like you heard me the whole way there grumbling. Should have just canceled. Just should have canceled.
Literally on our way. Like, can we go somewhere else? Can we? No, we're like literally right down the road. No, we cannot cancel.
And then we were accidentally late because I'm the directions person and I'm not even paying attention. And I'm like, well, see, you can tell I really didn't want to go. But afterwards, I was happy we did it. Like I was like, okay, they haven't called me yet. I need to see if our stuff's done. But yeah, like at the end of the day, I'm happy we did it. And I feel like I related to people and let people in a little bit. And I think it was good for my soul.
Yeah, I was proud of you.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I know that's difficult for you to celebrate you, because that's not, you don't do that.
I don't. And it's funny, and we're already closing in on our time, but we'll close on this. We'll talk about this though. It's funny because it just feels really weird to ever celebrate myself and celebrate the things that I've done. And like, I have never said to myself, I'm proud of myself. Like, even thinking that sounds weird, but I've been really big about making sure that my son knows I'm proud of him. And like, he tells himself all the time, I'm a genius. I'm a mastermind. I'm proud of me. Like he's got that, like that little boy swag right there. Right. And, but at the same time, as much as I don't want to celebrate myself, I really, truly long for someone to think of my feelings and my emotions the way I think of theirs.
Right.
And I think that's why you and I work, because we do that. But I genuinely look at like how much I give to other people and how much I just, not just like things, but like my time, my effort, all those things. And I genuinely long for people to give that back to me.
Right.
But then, yeah. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, stop.
I love you.
I love you too. Well, I hope I gave a little insight into this lovely world of coaching.
Yes, I learned a lot.
You know, I do think it's a great stepping stone. It's funny. Cody calls me principal all the time. He has big aspirations for my life. Okay. We've talked about, me teaching at the professor level. We've talked about me being a principal. And I do have a dream. So this is my dream moving forward. I want to go to Harvard and I want to get my doctorate. I want to be a Harvard girl. And I don't really know where I'll go from there, but I just feel like I'm going to go somewhere. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And don't forget, you're going to be Dr. Walker and Mr. Walker.
Mr. Walker. Oh, yeah. Doctor first, for sure.
You earned it, by the way.
What's your goals?
Well, my goal, I'm going to put it off, but January, I'm going to start the leadership program. So hopefully, hopefully eventually I'll graduate. I say eventually. Hopefully in 3 years, I'll graduate.
Take it slow. I mean, you have a kiddo to think about.
Right.
Yeah. I'm proud of you.
Well, it's going to start in August, but we know things can't come up, so I put it off until January, but it'll be okay.
Yeah, this full moon year, we get it. All right, my beautiful best friend. It is that time.
Oh,
So
man.
I know. So I guess we'll surprise everybody with what we're going to put out for next week, but this week is adjourned. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share it out to your friends. Don't forget to check out leavealittlesparkle.info and Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Am I missing anything?
Teachers.
Oh yeah, girl. Let me tell you about some teacher pay teachers. That's about to pay for my book habit that I finally have. Like, I used to be a voracious reader as a kid, and I kind of let it go when I became an adult, and I have been breezing through some books lately. So thank goodness for teachers pay teachers. So yeah, check out all the things, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.